Halloween time, and you know what that means. Monster movie marathon. You know them, you love them, but we've pretty much seen all of them. Ghosts, Draculas, the reanimated human Quilt and his bride, Goth Marge Simpson, and Robin Williams. But every reboot and spin-off and sequel and remake are all basically the same story. Take Dracula, for example. In the countless iterations, the character is always pretty much the same with the same goals. Sometimes it's a horror movie, sometimes comedy, and always varying degrees of horny.
This is wrong, do you hear me? Wrong! This is... Wrong, man!
So it's nice to get a new kind of monster every once in a while. Inevitably, though, every monster is milked for all it's worth, which is probably why the classic monsters pretty much remain the same. Very few monsters evolve in satisfying ways, and the more they change, the less audiences tend to like them. If something hits, audiences tend to dislike it when they change too much. Like Dracula Untold. The Tremors movies are a great example of studios altering their product into something completely unrecognizable. But just how unrecognizable did they get? I've known there were Tremors sequels, but knew very little about any of them after the second one, and because the first two are some of my favorite monster movies, I thought, since it's spooky season, I'd binge the rest to find out if, unlike classic monsters of the past, the graboids got any more interesting as they evolved. Spoilers, they didn't, and I probably didn't need to put myself through this to find that out. I'm torturing myself for you, my lovable audience. The first Tremors came out 35 years ago, and you'll probably be surprised to learn there have been 5 sequels and 1 prequel for a total of 7 films. Most of the films focus on the evolution of new graboid variations our protagonists must adapt to themselves. You might also be surprised to learn that there is only one actor who has appeared in all 7 movies, Michael Gross. His character, Bert Gummer, is a 2A libertarian prepper who shows up in 6 of them. But you said Michael Gross is in all 7 films. I did. In the 4th film, he plays his own great-grandfather in the Tokyo Drift entry of the Tremors franchise, The Legend Begins. It's not as much drifting or hot babes, though. Now, I didn't watch all 7 because I've seen the first and second movies probably a dozen times, and they're fantastic. To call them horror movies, though, is almost a misnomer because they're more action comedy horror movies. Since I know the first 2 pretty well, I watched what I thought were the bad sequels. However, when I committed myself to this endeavor, I had no idea I'd have to watch 5 more. I thought there were maybe 2 or 3 after the second, not fucking 5. Why are there 5 of these? After doing a little research and checking out the cover art and the titles, I thought, surely everything after 2 is gonna be Asylum Films level direct-to-video schlock. And sure, some get close to unwatchable, but more often than not, they're just kind of boring. None of them are so bad they're good. None of them seem to have created a cult following to necessitate milking the franchise for a very niche fandom, which makes their existence even more bewildering. I did start to lose my mind reviewing all 5 movies over the course of a weekend, though. The more fascinating thing about the movies is who became the face of the franchise. If you're unfamiliar with Tremors, in which case, why are you watching this? The first film focuses on the characters of Valentine McKee and Earl Bassett, played by Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward, respectively. There are a couple of down-on-their-luck handyman in the small town of Perfection, Nevada. The movie has its fill of a cast of memorable, unique, and charming characters that add some life to every scene without stealing it or taking away from the development and growth of our protagonists. The strongest of these supporting characters is Bert Gummer, the aforementioned proto-J6 insurrectionist. He exists essentially to assist Val and Earl, who are, let's be honest, pretty inept at everything they do with a few light bulb save-the-day moments. Bert functions as a walking, talking arsenal who hands everyone a gun and a pipe bomb in the 3rd act, but he isn't a deus ex machina who comes and saves the day. A running gag across most of the movies is that he is overly prepared only to realize he's prepared for the wrong thing, and none of his weaponry or defenses are suited for the situation.
Food for 5 years. 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration, Geiger counter, bomb shelter. Underground. Goddamn monsters.
This is usually resolved with some improvisation and creative thinking, pretty typical writing technique to create tension, like John McClane stepping on glass and being barefoot for the majority of Die Hard, or Neo getting blinded in The Matrix Revolutions. For a character that is, let's be honest, pretty one-dimensional, Bert Gummer somehow became the star of this franchise. I mean, it's not that surprising considering Kevin Bacon became an enormous star right after this, and Fred Ward was already 54 when he appeared in the sequel, and is honestly too good to be at the helm of a 7-movie direct-to-the-bargain-bin monster series. No shade to Michael Gross, he's a consummate professional in every entry and probably only became the Tremors guy by default. Besides his character, there weren't many other standouts that could fill the shoes of a leading man. It's not like Mindy and her pogo stick were exactly the most compelling person to hand the franchise off to. With every new entry in the series, however, his backstory and growth becomes more and more the focus, with the graboids themselves becoming little more than a nuisance with less and less logic justifying their existence. After the third film, the movies become less about the monsters, mainly because they're big ugly worms that are expensive to put to film, and begin to focus more on Bert, who is by all accounts an immovable object. So very quickly, let's establish the Tremors lore. The first movie is perfect. Every setup is paid off, every character has clear motivation, the pacing is also perfect, and it is exactly as long as it needs to be. 96 minutes. Val and Earl are fed up with their lives and perfection and make the decision to get out of town only to be blocked at every turn. They find old Fred dead in a high-tension tower. The only road out is blocked by rubble from one of the graboids, killing 2 construction workers, and they just keep coming across dead or missing locals.
What the hell's going on? I mean, what the hell is going on?
It's not until they head back to warn the rest of the town they think there's a killer on the loose when they discover the graboid tentacled tongue stuck to the axle that they realize they've got monsters. From there, they quickly learn what they are, how they hunt, and then how to hunt them through a series of great practical effects, satisfying realizations, and fun kills that make sense because they're earned. The second movie sees the return of Earl and Bert, but with pretty much a completely new cast of supporting characters that is smaller in scope, but who get more development than the previous supporting townsfolk of the first film did. Grady is kind of a stand-in for the Valentine character, if not just more capitalistic and ambitious, and Kate is our strong female protagonist and love interest to Earl now that Val and Rhonda have exited the series forever. Or have they? Their daughter comes back in the fifth one. Fifth one? I don't know, man. I've seen so many of these goddamn movies, I don't even know what's going on up here anymore. The second film feels more intimate with fewer characters while expanding on the lore without being too ludicrous. I mean, it is a monster movie about a bunch of worms, so, you know, suspension of disbelief and all that. The graboids have now evolved to reproduce asexually, birthing 4 smaller bipedal-beaked tadpoles called shriekers that can sense infrared heat signatures rather than sound. It's a similar plot to the first, where our characters think they know what they're in for and prepare for one problem only to be thwarted unintentionally by this new iteration of monster that comes with its own unforeseen quirks.
I didn't know. How could I have known? We were supposed to be up against graboids.
Similar to the first one, this one is paced really well and plays it mostly straight with a few comic relief bits, as well as several interesting and genuinely terrifying kills at some points, without becoming too dour or stark.
I don't like this. This is not good.
Okay. Stay here with the seismos, and then I'm going to go to look for them right now.
Okay, but don't do
We also get a massive fucking explosion in the third act, which is always great, where everyone walks away into the sunset covered in graboid goo. Upon watching Tremors 3, immediately something felt off about this movie. I was staring at the screen completely emotionless for the first 30 minutes. Michael Gross shows up in the middle of the night with a news crew in Argentina. A very interesting and visually striking way to start your movie. Somehow Argentina has an infestation of graboids now, and it is never explained how they got from Nevada to South fucking America. Rather than building to a massive showdown or skirmish sometime around the second act that would feel earned, Michael Gross gets on a .50 caliber dual-mounted machine gun and just slaughters them in a graboid genocide. It feels like a cynical trick to keep viewers engaged in the first 5 minutes by blowing up a bunch of CGI monsters and one practical puppet to keep them hooked rather than write something halfway decent. This is also the last time we'll see the Shriekers because apparently there was a problem with the compatibility of the original CGI effects files and they were all but useless during the production of this movie. The very few shots of the Shriekers that are in this movie are reused footage from the last film. We also get the prepared but outmatched trope again that's been set up in the previous films.
There was this conga line of cement trucks going up to your place. What the heck you building up there? I installed an underground graboid barrier. My own design.
5 gallons of unleaded.
Oh man, you really go the distance.
Oh yeah, I'm a masterpiece of self-destruction.
They eat enough, they go into a complete food coma.
No. They multiply.
No, Bert, they don't. Just feed it. Give it all your MREs.
The third entry is interesting only because they brought back several supporting characters from the first film. Miguel, Melvin, and Mindy and her mom all make appearances for about 5 minutes. Miguel unfortunately doesn't last long before he's killed basically off screen, which is unfortunate because he was one of the only nice characters. But, you know, you gotta kill off the one decent character to better motivate the leads in their quest for wiping out an entire species. We do get a few new characters because we need someone for Bert to be irritated by constantly. Jack is an amalgamation of Earl and Val from the first movie and Grady from the second, and he is a charismaless dork who looks like Brad Pitt and Guy Pearce got fused in Jeff Goldblum's Fly Machine. He's a grifter taking tourists on fake graboid adventures with the assistance of his friend and cohort, Buford, who simulates graboid sightings using dust canisters and false fence posts. Buford, by the way, has the most depth crammed into his character 30 seconds before he's eaten alive.
Oh, this is a good living. I mean, especially compared to what I was doing before.
Which was?
Well, I was shoveling roadkill for the county. You know, I couldn't help but notice you getting awfully red out here in the sun. You don't enjoy my company, huh? You know, a man could take offense at that.
At this point, I noticed an odd change of tone. There are parts reminiscent of the lighthearted horror comedy the first two films established, but when things get serious, they get really serious. Like cosmic horror serious. Early in the film, a group of federal agents show up, and after a few scenes, they're attacked, again off screen, and one of them is found stumbling through the desert like he just peered into the void and was dealt psychic damage from some Lovecraftian horror beyond comprehension.
The sound. Heard this. The screaming.
In the last one, the Shriekers were a threat, sure, and scary, sort of, but not existentially devastating. I'm not really sure why the change, especially since the silly parts of the movie still remain, like how the new version of the graboids we have yet to see are called ass blasters. There's nothing Lovecraftian about that at all. As with most of the following sequels, the pacing is also atrocious in this one. There's just so much that could have been cut, and it's clear most of the character development exists solely to pad the runtime. Specifically, Jack and Jody, who is Wang's daughter from the first movie, who continues to work at the market he was brutally murdered in 11 years ago. They're not initially set up as the love interest of this movie. I mean, at least you wouldn't be able to tell if they are because all their scenes together focus entirely on their business dealings with one another.
My business brings business to your business. Probably like an increase of about approximately around 50%.
22%.
50%.
Do you have a business plan? LL Bean, canoeing, outdoorsy,
You gotta sell them out
land,
refreshments
golf
at
clubby,
wholesale.
sailboating.
Oh, I see. 50%.
22% with questionable sustainability.
Oh, symbiotic
Relationship to be a viable entity in today's
Questionable
economic
sustainability.
See me, I'm in phase 3 of establishing my product
50%.
identity. 22%
You gotta sell them out refreshments at wholesale.
product identity.
By the end of the film, Jodie reluctantly rides off with Jack, and it genuinely feels like I missed a scene where they share with each other just how wet they get for accounting.
I'm working for myself here. All right? You know, I could have stayed in San Francisco, parlayed my MBA into a 6-figure income. But hey, I'm busting my ass eking a living out here to build something for myself.
Romantic? Who gives a shit about how deep in debt he is, or her trying to turn her dad's market into a fucking LL Bean? Mindy is all grown up and has a crush on Jack that is never resolved. Her mom is also there, but neither of them have much to do after their introduction besides get stuck on the roof in a box. The movie manages to give all the tertiary characters more screen time and somehow makes them less interesting. With a couple of exceptions, I do not care about a single one of them. The movie also sets up Perfection as this sad, depressing, run-down, lifeless town as opposed to being quaint and quirky like it was in the previous movies. It's absolutely no fun, and I cannot wait for any or all of these people to get eaten. We also have an albino graboid, which Miguel gives some exposition about how that might have something to do with the new mutation, or why that one in particular is acting so weird. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't really focusing on what he was saying because I was so distracted by the fact that it looks like a maggot and felt sick to my stomach.
We used to have a female goat like that. No kids. Impossible.
Sterile, huh? Maybe that's why El Blanco hasn't turned into Los Shriekers.
At one point, Bert gets swallowed while hiding inside a barrel, which is an important detail to remember for a later movie. But Jack's reaction is a perfect example of how off the casting is. He doesn't react how a normal person should or how a better actor would. When he gets Bert on the walkie-talkie inside the worm, he's just kind of like, oh, hey, you're still alive? Cool.
Houston, we have a problem.
Bart?
Affirmative.
Are you okay?
Compare that to Kevin Bacon in the first film.
We killed it! You got that? We killed that mother humper! Come back!
Are you okay?
I swear to God, Michael Gross is the only person who seems to understand and care about his character. As with the first two movies, there is a new evolution of the graboids, yet at an hour in, there's still no sign of these nasty little freaks. The only thing I knew before going into this movie is that they fly due to having explosive farts, and that they decide the best name for them is Ass Blaster.
Oh, ass blasters, how's that?
They fly now.
They can fly now.
They fly now! They fly now!
Look, I'm not expecting much from these movies, but come on. The only genuinely humorous part of this third installment is the self-awareness the writers have about how ludicrous a name that is.
Sounds like a porno film.
Neither the characters nor the writers could come up with anything better. Really? Throughout my watching of all these movies, I have never been able to take that name seriously, no matter how straight it's played. There are plenty of great explosions in this one, but there's no amount of gasoline that can fix a lackluster finale. It's never a good sign when you can guess exactly what will happen in the third act climax. No, not that kind of climax. You sickos. The last Ass Blaster, Jesus Christ, gets eaten by the big white graboid like at the end of Jurassic Park, and when it happened, I wished I was watching that instead. I thought they were both going to explode when he chomps down on him, but instead we get an epilogue revealing that Bert has captured the albino worm using ultrasonic frequencies. Oh yeah, there's a whole subplot where Melvin has grown up into a shitty real estate investor who wants to build tract homes in the desert, but Bert doesn't like that, so he uses the albino graboid's endangered species status to prevent construction. Then he strands Melvin on a rock with this disgusting 30-foot larva. It's a big grub. Ew. So we're doing a prequel, I guess. I had zero knowledge of anything after 3. In this one, we go back 100 years to when the town was called Rejection, not Perfection. The entire premise of the movie is that the local mine that's keeping the town alive shuts down because people are getting wormed. It's also established that a great conqueror will arrive, which is their only chance to save the town.
What does I Ching say?
Expect the arrival of great conqueror.
Or save the mine to save the town. It basically functions as the setup to subvert our expectations that this movie's Bert Gummer will be just as capable and heavily armed. Will he be a quick-draw gunfighter? A bounty hunter? Some kind of slick villain?
Mr. Bert Gummer?
I am he.
Instead of playing Bert Gummer, Michael Gross is now playing his own great-grandfather, Hiram Gummer, an uptight city slicker who's never fired a gun in his life. It's the only refreshing thing about this movie, despite being kind of a derivative role reversal, having the same actor play against type as a relative. The hotel proprietor, who inevitably becomes the love interest because she's the only female character of similar age in this movie, is actually the capable, self-sufficient one with the wall full of guns this time. How progressive. We do, however, get ye old version of Bert's recurring line about preparedness.
I feel I've not been privy to critical, most needful information.
You don't know what happens at the mine?
I have to say, though, this whole shtick gets pretty old after about 20 minutes. There's nothing more annoying in a character than being a prissy, complaining coward. Our supporting cast is better this time around, but the material they're working with is just so stale. Don't get me wrong, I love a Western period piece. Tombstone and Unforgiven are incredible, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is all-time Western media ever.
What you doing here? We found this place first. Yeah.
Easy.
But I am fully aware there are a lot of boring Westerns, and this one is no exception. Even with the inclusion of the Weird West monsters. Not only is this a boring Western, this is probably the most boring Tremors movie, and I was struggling to pay attention as they try to stretch about 30 minutes of story out to 90. The filmmakers did what they could with the Graboid lore by going backwards rather than forwards in evolution by giving us baby worms affectionately called Grablines. I, however, prefer Grablets. Hiram bribes what few miners that are still around to form a posse and investigate the mine where they find nothing, have a little camping trip, and then are attacked, leaving Hiram and Juan out of ideas basically. They decide the best course of action at this point is to hire a gunfighter, and when he shows up, we get an excruciatingly long introduction where he showcases his talents. Eventually, the three leads, Hiram, Juan, and Black Hand Graboid Fodder Kelly, as I like to call him, get trapped in a barn where the only entertaining thing... No, that's not right. Interesting? Okay, sure. The only interesting thing is the updated full-size practical animatronic head that eats this Grim Reaper-looking motherfucker before they escape back to town for the third act. In order to build some kind of tension, though, Proto-Bert leaves town after giving up all hope. Oh wait, he's back? Never mind. He sells his gold watch off screen to buy a bunch of guns that he brings back, where we finally get a Gummer family arsenal reveal, including a giant punt gun that was apparently a real thing and not a Looney Tunes prop made for this movie. While the story is lacking and the pacing is a slog, all the actors here are definitely better than the previous films. The best part of this movie is its third act. The strength of all of these movies is arguably always their third act, though. We get a point-blank headshot and a steam tractor impalement with one of the more impressive practical worm explosions of all the movies. It's pretty much a CGI shit show from here on out. I will say I am a little confused, though, about their physiology, because it seems like they're their weakest when they come out of the ground and just explode on impact, but are impervious to everything when they're underground. Which is it? How are they not being crushed by hundreds of tons of rock as they squirm beneath it? It ends with the town being saved and everyone getting exactly what they want, like it's a weekend cartoon from the 90s. In order to explain away why no one ever mentions this, 2 days of disappearances and the giant worm carcass I assume the 6 remaining characters dispose of themselves, they all vow never to tell anyone about the Graboids. Because that'll fucking work.
We agree never to tell anyone about the dirt dragons. If word of them ever got out, no one would ever settle here.
We end on a final freeze frame of Bert Gummer's ancestor finally discovering his bloodlust. Before I get into the 5th installment, we should probably go over a timeline of release dates for all of these. The first film came out in 1990, and there wasn't a sequel for 6 years until Aftershocks came out. Then 5 years later, in 2001, we got 3, and then the 4th came out in 2004. Using some deductive reasoning, you might notice a pattern of shorter and shorter releases, but it would be 11 whole years before Tremors 5 would come out in 2015. 2015! Tremors is one of those franchises that feels like every movie came out between 1990 and 1999. It doesn't feel like a franchise that would exist in the 21st century, which is why it's so weird that 6 and 7 came out in 2018 and 2020. Anyway, Tremors 5, Bloodlines. To update the series, Bert is now a survivalist YouTuber making Coyote Peterson content, which I just hate so much, and is one step away from going full Alex Jones.
I've scoured the dirt and dust of Nevada and Mexico, putting my life on the line to hunt super-sized subterranean man-eating predators called graboids.
Why does it look like that? Did they get like super jacked? What the hell? Immediately we're introduced to Jamie Kennedy's character because, don't know if you know this, but Jamie Kennedy's in this movie. Is that Jamie Kennedy? What the fuck?
That is a win. That's a yummer from the Gummer.
Why? It feels like Jamie Kennedy is doing a Pauly Shore impression. Who plays Travis Welker, a dirt bike enthusiast who's doing sick tricks out in South Africa. I mean, Nevada, because this entire movie definitely doesn't take place in South Africa for tax reasons. We gotta appeal to the extreme generation. So there's definitely gonna be a chase with this fucking motorcycle guy and one of the Tremors. It's Chekhov's dirt bike. You introduce a motorcycle in the first act, you gotta pay it off in the third. And you can tell because this is a real American accent.
So, that is your new camera guy, and, well, he comes highly recommended.
Kennedy's character has supposedly come all the way out to Nevada to help Bert build an internet following in the digital age, and it's definitely not related to him or the title of the movie.
Oh, stop calling me Pop!
To move things along, and because apparently everyone knows where Bert is at all times, our antagonist, spoilers, arrives to solicit him for assistance with another graboid problem.
We have a confirmed sighting of what you would refer to as an ass blaster.
That's impossible.
I can't get over the name Ass Blaster. And people having to say it with a straight face.
If you've got ass blasters, you've got graboids.
That's what my proctologist always says. These things are like ticks, they just won't go away. He says he works for the South African Wildlife Ministry, but that's a lie, obviously, and he wants to capture a graboid to sell as an exotic pet, I think. In several movies, people are always trying to capture these goddamn things, and I just... What are you gonna do with it? Put it in a fish tank? Or is the plan to just experiment on them like in Starship Troopers? I never understood that part of some of these movies. In this one, Bert is once again hobbled to do his job effectively by South Africa's gun laws, which the card-carrying NRA member Bert Gummer has a real problem with because... I mean, have you been paying attention at all?
You want guns, Bert? This is how we roll. Wow.
It's fucking Ulysses Claw from Age of Ultron. I honestly would love if just one of these movies, they gave him a fucking minigun for 90 minutes. Why not? I've mentioned how the first movie is perfect because all the setups are paid off. And while some of the other movies also have setups and payoffs, it's just that they're a lot more dumb than the first, or even really the second. In Bloodlines, we get a setup from a little girl electrocuting worms to get them to emerge from the ground so that she can use them as bait. Firstly, I don't know about you, But I wouldn't be comfortable letting a child have access to a fucking car battery. But secondly, this is so clearly a setup for something to come later that any viewer paying even the slightest amount of attention would be able to put together that they're gonna electrocute a fucking graboid at some point. I mean, the girl is electrocuting literal worms in the ground. Why else would they be showing this to us? Within a few minutes of that, we get another follow-up setup about how there are regular sun shower storms. So, you know, put 2 and 2 together.
Sun shower.
We get them every day at this time of the year at the exact same hour. You can set your watch to it.
1,500 hours.
There's also another love interest, or at least a woman wearing very little clothing that Jamie Kennedy becomes infatuated with, but kinda goes nowhere.
Hey!
Hey!
Made it!
Wow!
Wow, this is so weird! Then we've got these 2 paleontologists who fuck and then get murdered, and it's revealed that these graboids are bigger and meaner than the North American variety.
Spits out the acid to soften the rocks while the mandibles chew through it.
Science, 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 science. She's not naked, but this feels gratuitous and unnecessary. Are they on vacation or are they paleontologists?
Be nice to stay out here in the bush with you.
Now let me see your bush. So that's it for them? What? Why were they in the movie at all? These movies also lean way into the Jurassic Park homages. Homage might be a nice way of saying what they do. They rip off Jurassic Park. Oh man, are they really doing a Jurassic Park? In the kitchen? Is it gonna breathe on the window? Oh no, it's just gonna blast right through it. It's an homage to Jurassic Park. There were other possible references to the Jurassic Park movies in past Tremors installments, but man, it's really blatant in this one. Wow. Ew, these things look fucking gross, dude. It's a fucking Jurassic Park. We're doing a Jurassic Park. We're doing a Jurassic Park, everybody. Katniss Everdeen, everyone. The writers also couldn't help themselves referencing several other beloved classics as well.
We're gonna need a big-ass cage.
We're gonna need a big-ass blaster cage.
Come to Africa, we'll have some laughs, see some game. Go into a deep, dark, cavernous...
God, don't reference a better movie in your bad movie. What is that? I can't see. Our villain eventually does a double cross after Chronicles of Ulysses Claw gets splattered and traps Bert in a cage, where we are forced to witness what I can only assume is some kind of humiliation ritual Michael Gross is partaken in.
An ass blaster would have fetched 100 times what a cheetah cub or a rhino horn would have. Dead one? Not nearly so much.
You're a common poacher.
Morally, I'm okay with it.
These movies just keep getting more and more serious. These are supposed to be silly monster movies. And now we're dealing with fucking poachers? Oh god, they just used that fucking gate sound.
This may be the last will and testament of Mr. Bertram.
Ew, ew, what is this shot? This is so embarrassing. Oh, come on! Oh my god! It's at this point that we finally get the reveal that Kennedy's character is actually, wait for it, Bert's son!
I must be delirious.
You're welcome, Pops.
I told you not to call me that.
Wait, is it his actual dad? It's gotta be his dad, right? It's his dad. But who would the woman be? Florida? Oh, he went, oh, dude, it's the thing they said in the beginning. 1974 gun show.
Pensacola?
Yeah.
They got a great gun show. Was there in 74.
You got that look.
What look?
The I did some dirty things in Florida look.
Bert knocked somebody up, which I don't really like that as a character backstory. Had Jamie Kennedy, and this is his son that's tracked him down in his 40s.
Who is she to you? I call her Mom most of the time.
Bloodlines. See, it has two meanings. Bloodlines as in the Tremors, but also Bert's bloodline that we're carrying over from the third movie when we went back and saw his great-great-grandfather, and now his son. Get it? Holy shit, no way. The Arrow Lady does some killing to save her daughter that I have completely forgotten about. Oh, I completely forgot about Robin Hood. What? What? I would have done that anyway. That seemed pointless and also redundant. And Bert and Travis blow up the nest. But then, oh no, the daughter has one of the eggs and is being hunted by the last remaining juiced up worm.
What does she have in that basket?
They just got an egg.
That egg is the last of the bloodline.
Which is also a subplot in Jurassic Park 3. And you're never gonna guess how they kill it either.
You can set your watch by the lightning, right?
Yes, and right now we've got 13 minutes.
Let's hope the bride doesn't get cold feet.
Are they really gonna Frankenstein's monster this fucking thing? What? What? In the actual fuck? So stupid. I also didn't even mention South African Nick Nolte, who forms a quick bond with Bert because they're basically the same guy. What? How did that happen? Didn't touch the helicopter at all? Bye, Nick Nolte. I don't know why Bert is not allowed to make any lasting friendships in these movies. It's really kind of sad the more you think about it. Now, all that being said, this entry is definitely better than the Old West prequel. The pacing is decent, with the exception of a few dull moments and side quests that seem irrelevant to the overall plot. Get this woman some pants. Oh my god. It's not a Tremors movie without a local market getting fucking destroyed. The problem I'm finding with all these movies as they go along is, what's the point? Why keep making them? I know the cynical answer is money, but these aren't playing in theaters. This movie probably cost a few million to make, but only brought in 2.7 million. It'd be one thing if these movies said anything on such a low budget, but they're stupid monster movies that are on life support provided by the cult following of the first one. Is it just something to do for the actors on a long weekend? Again, I ask, why are there 7 of these? And how? For whom? You know, I said something felt off about the third movie, but this is just getting ridiculous. By the title and opening scene, my mind started to imagine what we could do in this new frozen tundra location. Trekking through a frozen hell, discovering abandoned outposts filled with ice cube corpses while dodging some new breed of graboid that has evolved specifically to weather a cold climate. There are so many opportunities that a completely different landscape could provide for the underground worm monster genre. Will they have fur? Perhaps skis for feet? Maybe they'll be more of a threat as they dig through loose snow rather than hard rock. Our characters would be at a disadvantage as they slowly trudge through the waist-deep pow-pow. Maybe we'll even get some kind of avalanche set piece in a snowboard chase. It is the 2000s after all. That'd be cool and exciting. And then I noticed it. Is this supposed to be snow? This is like cold for hot. It's not day for night, but is this supposed to be cold for hot? That is sand. Are they really trying to convince us that they are in snow? I can't believe that they think that the audience is dumb enough to not pick up on the fact that that is sand. God, I feel bad for the actors that have to pretend that they're walking around in the Antarctic or Arctic, wherever the fuck they are, when it's really the desert and it's probably 100 fucking degrees. So no, we won't be trekking through snow drifts or any kind of snow at all. There's a lazy excuse about global warming being the reason there's less snow, and the hand wave feels like more of a slap in the face.
Where are all the glaciers? Melting. Sled dog unemployment's at an all-time high.
Where's all the snow, Dr. Sims?
This year in particular has been one of the warmest on record up here. It's a very unique geological phenomenon.
This perennially frozen tundra is interrupted for approximately 10 square kilometers by thawed soil.
Thawed? That explains the ABs. Ass blasters.
We're gonna be stuck in this goddamn research facility for the entirety of the movie. Before we even get there, though, Bert has his property confiscated by the government because taxes.
And your property has hereby been seized.
What? You can't.
I can, and I did.
So, Bert just hasn't ever gotten paid for any of the work that he's done over the course of 5 movies? 5 movies? I guess his Graboid branded juices, which is just ranch dressing, and YouTube career never really panned out, no thanks to his deadbeat son. He's also experiencing some kind of visions that I thought would turn out to be a psychic link, because why not? Oh my god, are we really gonna get a movie where he's dealing with his PTSD? Is he not suffering from PTSD? Is he having some kind of fucking weird visions connected to the Graboids? Because if that's the case, this is fucking insane. He's now got a psychic link with the Graboids? These movies have proven they'll just do anything, and honestly, that sounded more interesting than what we got instead. Remember that time Bert got swallowed inside that barrel? Well, the writers try to tie that to this movie by coming up with, again, a hand-waved infection that's slowly killing him, just to create some kind of tension between father and son.
We've identified the toxin as originating from a Graboid.
A Graboid? What?
Just indulge me. Left behind the eye caused by cerebral inflammation. Advanced stage, it's not good.
You're gonna need antibodies.
How do we get them?
From a Graboid.
I'm the only shot.
You!
Yeah, me, Bert. Me.
Your job is to preserve my legacy. My job is to make a last stand against these Arctic Graboids.
You can't stand Colonel Custer.
Back off!
Too bad this is Travis's last film and they throw him under the bus story-wise about how he's been arrested and is in a Mexican jail now in the next one. Spoilers. You don't give a fuck. This makes 0 sense on multiple levels. For one, how long is the incubation period before someone starts to show symptoms? According to the movie's logic, it's 17 fucking years. How many people have been slimed over the last 2 decades? Dozens? Hundreds? So this begs the question, are there other people that are maybe also infected already or dead? Or does Bert have an autoimmune disorder that we're unaware of? I would have preferred the more ludicrous but fun alternative that he's mind-linked to the Graboids like the aliens in Independence Day. A Cold Day in Hell is also a bit of a slog with a bunch of characters I don't like, with one in particular being especially loathsome.
Duck, grow a spine, huh? Look at me! I have balls of steel! Say it!
I have balls of steel.
Adios, amigo.
Dr. Barrett!
That was a pretty cool fucking stunt, explosion, whatever the fuck. It's not a stunt, nobody was in the truck. We get several callbacks to the previous films. Val and Rhonda's daughter is a Graboid scientist, the aforementioned barrel infection, and this scene.
Hey, stop me by the pants!
So take off your pants!
100% no!
Take off your pants, Rita!
No!
Take them off now, goddammit!
No!
Why?
I'm not wearing any underwear!
I don't know if you remember from the first one, but there's a scene where Rhonda has to take off her pants to escape one of the Graboids. This is less fan service and more just reusing old material, hoping that no one notices. It's also not as effective because she doesn't even lose her pants, which would create some tension and then heighten the stakes as she runs around half clothed. But beyond that, it's just such a lazy trope. And the reason I don't believe this is fan service is that there would actually have to be diehard fans of these movies. Which there's not. I mean, I hope it's not. Are there diehard fans of these movies? This movie also has the same problem that the last 4 films had. What do you do with these graboids now? They've been mutated and retconned so many times that the only option is to go back even further in history.
Maybe these are the first graboids.
Yeah, like Precambrian.
Exactly.
These movies really can't progress forwards at all because what are you going to do with a bunch of underground monsters? You know, you do it once, that's kind of it. Every movie so far has had to go back in time even further, with the exception of the first 2. It's a bunch of hogwash. It's a bunch of sassafras.
Sounds like a bunch of sassafras.
The plot is also pretty basic, with a red herring where they suspect another generic government agent, this time working for DARPA, is breeding a new kind of genetically engineered graboid, which would have been fun to see. But then they'd have to make new animatronics and CGI models. It's a whole thing. Turns out he's actually a good government agent working for DARPA with the mission to figure out how to clean and use the water that has melted from the ice caps due to global warming. Or sell it. I don't know. Maybe he's not such a good guy. After one of the research assistants goes on a Mountain Dew-fueled dynamite spree for way too long, they trap the graboid so they can suck out the graboid brain juice. I just can't. They trap it so they can suck out the graboid's brain juice to make an antidote to Bert's affliction.
If you've got ass blasters, you have graboids.
Jamie Kennedy taking on the mantle of graboid hunter Bert Gummer. He's just holding the thing. What the fuck? How do they impale with their hands if bullets can't get through it? So this is where James Cameron got the idea for Avatar 2, where they suck out the brain juice from the whales. He got it from graboid. The graboid goo. Oh, and they shoehorn in another romance subplot between this lady and Jamie Kennedy, which is completely unconvincing and once again comes out of nowhere and isn't earned in the slightest.
Trying to get sweet with me?
Definitely.
Why? Why would she? Why? There's no connection. Why would she ever want to get with fucking Jamie Kennedy? Look at him. He looks insane. God, these movies force romantic relationships where there just isn't any chemistry. Besides the fact that Jamie Kennedy thought it was hot that she didn't wear any underwear. That's the only connection that they have. And once again, I have to pat myself on the back because the moment I saw these fucking RC planes, I knew exactly how the movie was gonna end. Oh, so in this one, they're gonna use remote control airplanes to blow up the ass blasters. That or the writing is just so stupid. God, it's finally almost over. Is that Napoleon fucking Dynamite? What is that title? Oh my god. In this one, we've got an amalgamation of several different recognizable movie tropes and plots. And I honestly think the writers saw all the Jurassic World movies and said, let's genetically engineer these bad boys.
For these slack-jawed hipster hunters from Silicon Valley?
Hey, they pay big money for this hunt.
Yeah, I should hope so. I mean, how often do you get to hunt a super predator whose genetic code's been hacked?
A mega super predator.
A mega super predator? Every woman in these movies is in short shorts. Give these women some real fucking clothes. Was she in the 5th one? I have no idea if this one has anything to do with the other ones at all. There's also another research facility, this time on a remote island that is at least an actual island and not pulling a hot for cold like the last one. Man, they were really leaning into the Jurassic Park sort of theme. Now they got a bioengineering company hunting them or something? Is that fucking Napoleon Dynamite? I guess we got rid of Jamie Kennedy. Because Jamie Kennedy is out with his character locked up in jail, we get, spoilers again, his mother, Jasmine, who just so happens to be working here.
Jasmine.
I go by Jazz now. Or Dr. Welker, whichever you prefer.
Oh my god, what?
I'm taking this boat back to my life of total isolation.
Please, Bert, don't go.
Pretty convenient that they were one boat ride away from each other after not seeing one another for 50 years. They ended up almost in the same fucking latitude.
Do you want to know about our son, Travis?
We must. He's MIA again.
He's behind bars for bringing magic mushrooms across the Mexican border.
The necessary sidekick to Bert's even more curmudgeonly graboid hunter is replaced by John Heater, who, thankfully, isn't a complete loser character, but the head researcher.
You're the one with the PhD in conservation biology.
Yes, Jazz.
It's nice to know Bert won't have a heart attack dealing with somebody's buffoonery, at least. He's still pretty inept, but in a kinda lovable way.
Rise and shine.
Our villain in this one is both a lunatic big game hunter and evil corp executive who works for AVEC, the company genetically engineering the graboids that look just as awful as they did in 5, but are at least recognizable.
I thought we were friends.
See this whiskey?
You're friends with this guy? This guy's clearly so evil. They've also got superpowers now. And mustaches.
Oh, shit.
Why do they look like that? They're so gross. Is that a thing they can do now?
Did we get it?
I don't know. Why don't you go?
No, have you not seen Predator? Of course you didn't get it. He's got hair? He's got a mustache. The basic plot is that Colonel Kurtz over here has this graboid hunting adventure planned with generic Bond villains, and to keep it under the radar, he disables the island's communications, which includes the research team. When Napoleon Dynamite, Bert, and the mom from Easy A find out what's happening, they plan on hopping over to the island to kill them, but evil CEO man doesn't like that, so he locks them in a basement before going postal and basically suiciding himself for no reason.
Now grab your balls and your rifle.
Dude's going full Colonel Kurtz, isn't he? He's gotten graboid crazy. So stupid. These movies have made me lose my mind. I'm gonna go full Colonel Kurtz by the end of this. Getting Bert onto this island is all too convenient because he's apparently just over on another island nearby because we gotta keep this plot moving. Bert Gummer really just cannot catch a fucking break in these movies.
Yeah, well, it sounds like someone's got a little PTGD.
Jesus Christ, he looks fucking crazy. This might be the best looking of all of the movies so far. I mean, it was made 5 years ago as opposed to, 15 or 20 years ago, so.
More people will die. You're the only one who can help us.
Meth Santa can't possibly be the only one that can help you in this scenario. Dude's gotta be like 60, right? Despite all the shortcuts, this one still feels way too fucking long despite all the explosions and action sequences and murder.
The hell you doing?
putting mud on me like Arnold did in Predator. I mean, I don't want those creatures seeing my heat signature.
I made a Predator joke earlier and now they're literally doing Predator.
Go for the groin. Got it. Let's go medieval on these ugly slime bags.
He looks like that peanut butter baby.
Suck on this.
The Scooby Gang eventually sets up a giant tire pit rigged with explosives because fuck it that Bert and PhD lured to the top of a cliff to do the old Val 1-2 trick out the other side. She got it right in the face. Oh, ew, close your mouth. Yuck. But because Michael Gross was 73 years old when they made this, he just lets himself get eaten by a worm. What was that? There's an Avengers-style funeral scene and then a montage of Bert clips that make it seem like it's a memorial to Michael Gross, the real human man. Okay, we get it. We get it. Everyone's real sad. How? Those were on his head. When he fucking cannonballed into the thing's mouth. What is this Logan-ass ending, dude? Is he gonna turn the cross sideways so it's an X? Deadpool's gonna show up and fucking take his skeleton out of his grave and beat a bunch of guys to death with it next. That's it? No, like, wrap-up between the other characters? Oh. Now we're getting a montage? From all his other exploits? It's so weird that this series turned into, like, the Bert Gummer series. Like, he was not a main character in the first one, and yet we just did 7 movies where they're all starring him, and the end of the series is a montage memorial to his character. That's not even him, technically. That's his great-great-grandfather. Why would that be in the... This makes it seem like he was dead. Like, this is a memorial to Michael Gross and not just the character. Like, pretty sure Michael Gross is still alive when this movie came out. He's still alive now, isn't he? Yeah, he's 78. He's still alive. Jesus Christ, he was 73 in this movie then? Wow. That was the Tremors series, at least the last 5.
Huh?
Watching Bert Gummer grow and suffer setback after setback, including having an illegitimate bastard and getting infected with graboid blood, reminded me of what happened to Indiana Jones, weirdly enough. The first 3 films are such cultural touchstones, and Indy is so beloved by multiple generations that when we got more movies with him in his 70s, no one liked it. Milking these giant worms for cheap thrills aside, taking a character like Bert Gummer, no matter how shallow he might be, and watching him age into this geriatric version of a once capable and I think also beloved character is just kinda sad. I don't want to see what old age Indy was up to in his twilight years, and I definitely don't want to see that with Bert. Not to mention that after 7 films, the graboids themselves are less of a threat and should have retired to the same nursing home that Bert belongs in. We like these characters because they exist outside of time. When we're not watching their younger selves globetrot and treasure hunt and kill mutant worms, they exist in our minds. We can fill in the gaps of time and possible adventures they got up to in between the movies where they are ageless. Seeing a character that is meant to be capable and tough and strong and fearless become a decrepit shell of their former self forces the audience to come to terms with their own mortality. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of film and TV being an escape from all that stuff. The demand for more adventures of our favorite characters put to film is a trick of nostalgia. People don't actually want more Indiana Jones movies or Tremors movies because when they come out, they're complete crap, and there's no budget that can succeed in this endeavor. Just look at all the failed sequels and reboots and remakes and prequels.
They fly now! They fly now!
These movies serve as a reminder that a good thing can become shit when some soulless executive sees there's even the slightest chance to make a profit off their septuagenarian bones. I hate these movies. But after watching all of them, I do have a newfound appreciation and love for Bert Gummer. There's even a part of me that adores Beach Bum Gummer in the last film, and as silly and schmaltzy as the send-off is, I am glad that Michael Gross got some kind of recognition for all that he's given to this franchise. Now, am I saying you too should sit through every single one of these? No, absolutely not. It's torture. But Michael Gross is the only redeeming thing about them, despite becoming the default face of the series on accident. And weirdly enough, it makes me kinda happy. That's the video. Thanks so much for sticking around. And if you made it through the whole thing, that means you're special, and I appreciate and adore you. Make sure you follow the rules of the channel, which are like, comment, share, subscribe. And like I said at the top, I have a Patreon that you can go become a member of for $1 a month to get all my content ad-free. I would very much appreciate it if you did that. You can also go follow me on Instagram at Harland Spinks, where I post updates about the channel and memes and photos that I take that I think are nice to look at. So be a doll and go check those out. Until next time, I've been Harland Spinks. Now vanish.